Now we're getting over. So I think I know what I gotta do. I gotta yank it one way, then yank it the other way super quick. Not like that. In today's video, I'm gonna be back in realistic car driving with a Honda S2000, and we're be taking on the track, and I'm gonna have some fun with it with traction off and on. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. Now, I honestly don't feel like this thing is gonna be very slidey or give us too much problem, because I don't think it have enough powers to really give us the oversteer that we're looking for. But we'll just have to see. But I want to try to send this as hard as I can through most of the turns. So let's try. So traction is off. As you can see, we just pretty much just understeer through that turn straight up. I didn't even see any oversteer. I heard some tires screeching, but I didn't see any oversteer. Yep, traction is off. I honestly don't think this thing is gonna oversteer unless I pull the handbrake or something like that. But that's probably gonna be the only way. But I don't think this thing has the potential. I'm hearing the tires screeching, but I'm not seeing the oversteer that I want. I want it to like give me a full oversteer. I got a counter steer and stuff like that. I'm not seeing that so far. Okay, there we go. We got a little bit there. That's good. But I don't think this thing is very or has enough power to really throw you off track or anything like that. Now we're getting over. So I think I know what I gotta do. I gotta yank it one way, then yank it the other way super quick. Not like that. Okay, let's just act like that did not happen. The reason I'm trying to get this thing to like basically spin out, but it's very confusing because, as I said, it doesn't seem like this thing has enough power to go sideways. But that's part of having fun. I feel like we need a lot more power to really get this thing going sideways, because it's just taking the turn like how it normally turn. Even though it's rear-wheel drive and it's fully tuned and traction is off, it's not oversteering on me or anything like that. Unless I try to do some crazy side-to-side maneuver and stuff like that, then probably would happen. But as you can see, we pretty much just went straight into the barrier. Let's try to pull the handbrake. Never mind, we're not doing that again. I mean, I think it's possible. We just gotta time it perfectly. I don't want to be going too fast when you pull the handbrake as well. But I don't think I really have that much experience with pulling the handbrakes to do drift in this game specifically. In other games, I usually use the handbrake a lot, but this game, I don't think the main focus is on drift, so I don't really think it would be that appropriate or give us the reaction that we're looking for. Okay, that wasn't too bad, but except we came off the track a lot there. But I think that's the main way we're gonna try to get this thing going sideways. We gotta pull the handbrake. That was a nice attempt there. But as I said before, this thing doesn't really have enough power to really throw you off track. So I'd say this thing is definitely like a fun little daily drive, because even with traction off, it's still handy like it's on. Still has a lot of grip. Only thing I can hear is the tires screeching. Okay, let's try to slow her down here. I'm gonna pull the handbrake into this. Okay, it did help a bit, but we didn't really get to continue. It just went sideways and then it just pretty much corrected itself. We didn't really get much sideways there. I'm gonna try it on the next turn up here. Okay, that was a little longer, but it's still the same effect. We can't really go sideways with this thing. It doesn't have enough power. Now I'm just gonna send it into a turn like almost full speed. Let's try it now. Okay, we got a lot of understeer there, which is expected because you're pretty much just trying to send it. We got, as I said, this thing, it doesn't handle that bad, to be honest. It doesn't matter how hard I try to push it. It's just like it has the grip. It doesn't lose traction at all. It does a tiny bit, but it's not enough to really get us going sideways or anything like that. Oh, that was nice. That's the longest I think I had so far. The longest going sideways. But I don't think this thing is really focused on being a sideways car, to be honest. In real life, you could probably tune it up and stuff like that, but this is just a game, so you can't really change some of the things I would want to. Now I'm gonna turn traction on and see how well this thing does. I think it's gonna handle a little better, or pretty much like how it's handling with it off, because as I said, this thing doesn't really have the power to really lose traction and get the rear wheel spinning fast enough to cause us some problems. Okay, we still got some understeer there, but I'm trying to send it a little more, so I'm expecting a lot of understeer. This thing understeers more than it oversteers, to be honest, even though it's rear wheel drive. Usually understeer would be with a front wheel drive car. Or why is it becoming so sliding now when traction is on? What? Okay, it's not sliding, never mind, it just happened there. Maybe because of the speed. But this thing, honestly, it handles pretty well. It's not very unpredictable. To be honest, if you're looking for a car that you could handle, that wouldn't oversteer and try to kill you every second, this would be it. Don't mind that. I don't know how that happened there. I think that's the longest I've been sideways now, but it was with traction on, so that's kind of odd. But as I was saying, this thing definitely handles super great. It's not very prone to oversteer. It can understeer, but understeer isn't too bad. Just gotta cut speed before you enter a turn and you should be good. Yeah, but this thing is definitely handled super well. I don't have anything bad to say about it. Despite the fact it not giving us oversteer that we wanted, I don't think that's a bad thing, to be honest. If you're looking for a car that handles great, this is definitely the car to go for. Overall, after I rate the handling, I'd say this is one of the best handling cars I've driven so far. Even though we had a few little crashes and stuff like that, it was because you're trying to push it to see if this thing can actually go sideways, but the handling of this thing is super great. Despite me saying I can't get it going sideways and stuff like that, that's not a bad thing if you're not looking for that. The handling is great. As you could see, we didn't even really have any major issues other than the little oversteer, but I think that's because you're trying to go full speed into turns and stuff like that. But this thing definitely handles super great.